When it comes to career choices and making a living, right? Anything that you do that is considered outside of what we see as conventional wisdom or that's outside of the norm is going to be met with a tremendous amount of friction, all right? So you have to have a belief so big, right? So big of a belief, to bet on yourself, even when it makes absolute zero sense to everyone else around you. All right, and just this just comes. It just comes with the territory, right? You're gonna be looked at and as crazy, right? Until it actually works. All right. Until it actually works, just come to terms for your own sanity. Just come to terms with the fact that you're going to be looked at as crazy, right? If you can deal with that and you can, you can endure whatever you're going to have to endure, and whether it's, you know, people trying to talk you out of it, or your friends laughing at you, or your family telling you to stop the nonsense and get a real job, and all that type stuff, right? If you've done any of this type stuff, if you've gone into anything, like I said, that's outside of what's considered the norm by conventional wisdom, then I'm pretty sure that you have probably heard one or two of those phrases thrown your way, right? Okay. So it's something you really have to have an extremely strong mindset, really thick skin, and more important than anything, a belief so strong to bet on yourself, knowing that what you're doing is actually something that's gonna pan out. Now, this should not be blind belief, right? I'm not talking about pie in the sky type of belief and all that type of stuff. Whatever it is that you're going after needs to have some kind of strategic plan, some kind of proof, right? That it actually works, right? Ideally, you want something that you want to be going after something that has been done before or similar to it, right? Ideally, right? Of course, I mean, well, if you're like a pioneer and you're coming up with something completely new, that's a different story. If you're one of those types that's looking to change the world, and like the type of things that are billionaire type people do, right? It's funny. They often say the people that think that they're crazy enough to change the world, they often are the ones that do, right? I'm not looking that far, right? I'm just basically talking about, things that things that you've seen others do before, right? Like whatever idea, whatever thing that you want to do, right? More often than not, you're not necessarily going to be the first to have thought about it. And there usually are other people out there that you can model, right? Other people that you can follow who have already, shown the way, right? And have done it successfully, more than just one person. Like you've seen multiple people do it, so you as an individual, even if everybody else around you thinks you're crazy, at least because of the circles you run in, the spaces that the people that you mingle with online, at least that you're not crazy. Okay. But just accept the fact, just come to terms with the fact that until what you're doing actually works, for the most part, you're going to be looked at kind of funny. Let's just put it that way. So if you can deal with that, right? If you can deal with that, and you know that you are on a path to what is considered your version of success, then you're halfway there, okay? Because 90% of this stuff is up here, okay? 90% of it is up here. This is not one of those things that you're gonna do, that you can afford to like just dip your toe in the water and see, how it feels. No, this is one of those things that if you are gonna do it, you have to freaking dive. Okay, you've got to go. You got to be all in. You got to dive, right? you've got to go for it, right? And it's the type of mindset is the one where it's like you're gonna make this thing work or you're gonna die trying type of stuff. This is not for the faint of heart. It's not the sort of thing, because I'm saying this because I see it all the time, right? I see it in the space all the time. Like people will come through, they come in hard, they're doing this, doing that, 1 month, and they're gone. Okay, 2 months. I've seen 2 months, 3 months, and they're gone. Right? Like it's just little minimal effort, right? And unfortunately, this happens because more often than not, a lot of these people who come in and try, they're ready to quit after 2 3 months. The reason is because they too often see, they're sucked in by those who are having tremendous amounts of success, right? Like ridiculous amounts of success, and they're looking at it as like seemingly overnight success. They think that they can just come in, just do one, two, three things, just a few things here and there, and start having the same results, right? And it just does it just does not work that way. Okay, it just does not work that way. If you're going to do this, you have to give it time of honest, committed, daily effort and work, right? That's the name of the game. Okay, and there's no maybe, like you really got to go through it, right? And that's why I often tell people, for any online endeavor, any type of thing that you're looking to try and do, I always tell people that if you're gonna do this, if you can't commit to a minimum of 6 months, that's just the bare minimum, right? But I'm talking 6 months to a year, okay? If you can't commit to that for that long, like being consistent and putting in the work for that amount of time, then this just might not be for you, okay? Because too often and more often, like people see the overnight, they see people come through and what looks to them like overnight success because maybe they've been trying, the people they've been watching have been trying, but they don't see that grind. They don't see that stuff that's brewing underneath the surface. All they see is the overnight blow up, and then they think that, oh wow, that they too, they erroneously think that they can just come in after like a short period of time, they'll see that type of success as well. No, and it's just, it just doesn't work that way. Of course, every once in a while you'll have the one anomaly of someone that just comes and just blows it out the park from day one, right? And like I always say, not everybody can be LeBron James, right? Not everybody can be Michael Jordan. Not everybody can be Lionel Messi. No, not everybody can be Cristiano Ronaldo, right? The like those are quote unquote unicorns, so to speak. However, there's room for everybody to play that wants to play, right? There's enough pie for everybody to go around, right? It's just you have to earn your dues, right? You have to put in your dues and you have to earn that level of success, right? So don't come in don't come in and compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10, right? Somebody who has read only chapter 1 of a book, right? Somebody who's read only chapter 1 of a book, they can't compare their knowledge of that book to somebody that has gone read everything all the way through chapter 10, right? And the same way, you cannot and should not be comparing your results to what you've achieved within the first month to somebody who has been doing this, that has already been doing this for, let's just say 10 months, a year or more. You get the point I'm trying to make. That's not to say that, things are going to happen within that short time frame, right? 6 months to a year, that's actually a very short time when it comes to like succeeding in business and all that type of stuff, right? And you should have that same mindset for what you try to do when it comes to like the online stuff. Now, does that mean that you cannot see results a lot sooner than that? Of course not. Of course you could see results a lot sooner than that. But if you set your mind knowing that, okay, it's going to take this amount of, like, it's going to take an extended period of time and you got to put in the work, you're going to be less bothered by the fact that you're doing all this work for little to nothing in return in terms of results. understanding that stuff is brewing underneath, under the surface. So as long as you're doing your part, keep going, keep at it, and then eventually you'll be glad you kept doing the work. All right. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, put them in the comment section below. I will be sure to respond. For those of you who are interested in doing what I do, which is digital marketing, affiliate marketing, if you'd like to get started, check out the first link in the description below this video. It will give you a good place to start with a decent foundation and take it from there. If you have any questions, like I said, hit me up. I'll be sure to respond. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will catch you in my next one. Ciao.